Hello, my name is Katie and welcome to my video. Today is my book haul for November. This is kind of like a part 2 because early on in November I had a whole nonfiction book haul and yeah, things went crazy after that. There are a ton of books here. This is probably going to be a long video. Grab a drink, grab a snack, get comfy. Because we're going to be here a while. I think first I'm going to start with anything I either got on Kindle or audiobook. I do want to kind of tell, it's a little bit of a story just about good customer service actually. I use Chirp for my audiobooks. I feel like they advertise a decent amount. What it is essentially is it's an audiobook app, but you don't have to pay like a monthly subscription fee like you do for Scribd or Audible or anything like that. They just sell discounted audiobooks. So all the audiobooks that I got with them were under $5. Some are better than others. I actually have one that's a newer release on this list, which I think is cool. I was having issues though because 5 of the audiobooks I had purchased I couldn't get to play even though they said they were downloaded to my device. So I contacted their customer service and I was like, hey, I'm having this trouble, can you please help me? And they responded, I think within 48 hours, and they apologized for the delay, which I was like, whatever, like you said 24 to 48 hours, so I'm not worried. So they, apologized for it taking 48 hours to get back to me. They refunded me the money for those 5 audiobooks and then told me what to do to get them to work. And it worked. So I just essentially got 5 audiobooks for them for free because I was slightly inconvenienced. I was amazed at that customer service. It seems rare to me that they just refund you, no questions asked, but you still get the things you purchased. So I was very happy with that, and I think I'll be very comfortable continuing to use them in the future and even like plugging them a little bit on this channel. So let's just get started. I don't know a ton about most of these because I was like, oh, you're cheap and that's an interesting title. So that's how that went. So I can't really tell you a whole lot about them, but I mean it's pretty easy to just look things up on Goodreads. So first things first, I got The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. My dad has been wanting me to read this for a while, so I finally purchased it. I'm pretty sure I have the abridged edition because it doesn't seem to be as long as I thought The Count of Monte Cristo was. But either way, I think it'll still be good, and I'll still get the gist of the story. And then if I really do like it, maybe in the future I'll try to buy like the full book. I got History's Great Plagues: How Germs Shaped Civilization by Christopher R. Fee. I actually kind of had trouble finding this one on Goodreads. So I don't know if it's not very good, not very popular, or what the deal is, but it sounded interesting. Then I picked up Gods and Robots, Myths, Machines, and Ancient Dreams of Technology by Adrienne Mayer. That just has the coolest title. And then the cover looked pretty cool too. Hopefully I have it up here so you can see it. I picked up Royal Witches, From Joan of Navarre to Elizabeth Woodville by Gemma Hollman. Again, I don't think I really need to say much about why I thought this sounded cool. I also picked up Human Errors, Pointless Bones, Runaway Nerves, and Other Human Defects by Nathan H. Lents. That sounds so cool to me because, you think about it and the human body seems like this marvelous, wonderful thing, but then when you really get down to like brass tacks, you're like, actually there are a lot of things like that aren't necessary, like wisdom teeth. Why? So I think it'll be interesting to find out about just things within the body that aren't necessary, don't do anything, may actually be detrimental to living, and just get some information about that. I also picked up Because We Say So by Noam Chomsky. I hear a lot about Noam Chomsky in classes, just in life, and I've never read anything by him before, so I thought I would give this one a go. I also picked up An Indigenous People's History of the United States by Roxanne Dunbar-Ortiz. This one is newer, I think, because I saw it at Barnes & Noble on like their new releases rack. I think everybody specifically Americans should pick this one up. I mean, there is so much that we don't know. When you look at American history, it pretty much starts with like the Revolutionary War. And that's not really fair, now is it? I'm very excited to dig into that one and just find out more about what this land used to be before colonization. The next book I picked up is The Memoirs of Mary Queen of Scots by Erickson. I believe this is actually fiction, but either way, I think it's going to be pretty cool. Mary Queen of Scots is someone that I run across frequently in learning about other people in history, but I've never actually, I don't think, read a whole lot just focused on her, so I think that could be cool. I picked up The Science of Storytelling by Storr. I am really looking forward to getting into this one. I might start it pretty soon. Next I picked up The Henna Artist by Alka, Joshi. This was on the Goodreads Choice Awards in one of the sections. I can't remember. I feel like it was in debut, but it might also have been in like historical fiction or something. Anyway, it sounded really good. I wanted to read it. It was very inexpensive on Chirp, so I picked that up. I also picked up Why, Explaining the Holocaust by Peter Hayes. I don't know if I really need to explain that much why I picked this up, but I recently read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl and have just been really wanting to know, like, well, why? More from like a psychological point of view. The next one I picked up, I don't know if I'm saying his name right. You know what? Let's just look it up.
Mengele. German. Mengele.
Mengele? Did I get that right? Hopefully I have the cover up here so you can see how it's spelled too. Mengele, The Complete Story by Gerald, Posner, and Joan. Ware. This kind of goes along with just wanting to know more about the Holocaust. And then lastly, I picked up World History by Philip Parker. This is another one I'm having trouble finding like the right cover for it, so hopefully I managed to find it and put it up here. So those are the audiobooks slash Kindle books. That was a lot. That was a lot. Let's see. That took me roughly 10 minutes to film, so hopefully I cut that down a little bit, because if you could see the piles of books that are currently surrounding me, you'd probably be like a little bit concerned for my bank account. My husband is. Anyway, I have things in various stacks here, so I guess maybe we'll start here with Book of the Month. This is the last month I'm going to be getting Book of the Month for a while, and I'm taking a break. But anyway, I got Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, which, if you have watched my November wrap-up, you will know that I tried to read and DNF'd. Very sad, very sad. I also grabbed Pretty Little Wife by Darby Kane. I mentioned in my December new releases that this is one I was really looking forward to reading, and I really am looking forward to reading it. I might pick this up pretty soon. And then finally, I got White Ivy by Susie Yang. This is one that I've had my eye on, I think since the summer is when I first heard about it. We're following a woman called Ivy. It starts out when she's a child, and she's a Chinese immigrant. So naturally there are just things that kind of come along with that, well, there are struggles that come along with that, particularly when you're young and you're trying to go to school, and kids are not nice. They just aren't. You know what? I'm just going to read the synopsis because I really like this book. White Ivy begins as many coming to America stories do. Ivy Lynn, a Chinese immigrant, grows up in a low-income apartment complex in Massachusetts, desperate to assimilate with her American peers. She develops a crush on the golden boy Gideon Spare, whose patrician New England family is the paragon of the WASP ideal. Ivy's mother is a tiger mom, berating Ivy regularly when she disapproves of her grades, her looks, and her attitude. But that's where the familiar story ends, because Ivy has a mentor, her grandmother, from whom she learns to shoplift to get the things she needs. Ivy develops a taste for winning and for wealth. Years later, when she bumps into Gideon's sister, Ivy believes it's destiny. She's worked long and hard to be the right woman for Gideon, but just as they begin dating, another man from Ivy's past appears, and he has his own set of rules. Ivy soon has a foot in two vastly different worlds. The question is, which will she choose? A coming-of-age story, a love triangle, an exploration of class and race and identity, White Ivy is a page-turner that will appeal to the fans of the talented Mr. Ripley. Ivy Lynn is compelling and unnerving, and you'll root for her, perhaps in spite of yourself. This definitely feels like someone who really is more of like an archetypal villain, but done in a way that you don't care. You still want her to win. I'm hoping that's the case. I am really looking forward to reading this. Next, we'll go through this large stack quite quickly. I have been, for several years now, working on collecting the Royal Diaries series. If you were a Scholastics kid, you will definitely have seen these. I didn't realize how large the series was, and recently I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to grab all the rest of them that I don't own. So now I have all of them except for one. I'm still working on finding one. So I'm just going to go through real quick the ones I picked up this month. I have Kaiulani, Christina, Witimu, Elizabeth, Cleopatra, Lady of Palanque? Oh my god. I don't know. But if you can see that, is that focusing? There. That should do it. I have Catherine. This one's quite short. I have Jahanara, which this one was my favorite as a kid. And I owned it. But then I lost it, and I could not find it. I remember searching. I remember being like 12 years old, wondering where the heck this went to, and like tearing the house apart. And I couldn't find it. So now I've purchased it, and I own it. 12-year-old me would be very pleased. And then I picked up Sonduk. The last one I picked up, I'm a little annoyed about. I got this from Thrift Books. It told me it was in good condition. The rest of these were like $4 or less. This one, for whatever reason, was $35. So I don't know if it's rare, but it said it was in good condition, and I was like, you know what, I want them. I couldn't find it anywhere else, so I grabbed it. This is not in good condition, okay? This is, I don't know how to pronounce that either, but you can see somebody put this sticker that I can't get off over her face. There's a sticker here. If you can see that, the book is clearly bent. And then there's like writing on it and stuff. It doesn't look like they cleaned it up at all. So I'm a little annoyed about that. I'm gonna work on it a little bit more and see if I can get this annoying sticker off and clean it up. At least it's a hardcover, so there's a better chance of me not ruining it when trying to get the sticker off. But yeah, I'm very disappointed, especially because it was so expensive. Next, I suppose we'll get into the Sarah Waters. You'll have seen, if you watched my November wrap-up, that I read 2 of these already and have started a 3rd one. So the 2 that I read are The Little Stranger and Affinity. If you want more details about these, they are in my November wrap-up, which I will link somewhere. And then I started The Night Watch. So that is also kind of mentioned in my November wrap-up at the end. And then I think I own all of them now. I got Tipping the Velvet, which I was surprised by the cover. I like it. I think it's interesting and quirky and cool. But I was very surprised when I opened the package and saw naked ladies. I got The Paying Guests, and then Fingersmith, which I have heard so many people talk about and rave about and just gush. So I'm saving this for last because I don't want to read this one first and then be disappointed by each consecutive one. I guess we'll go with this stack next. All of these are books that have been recommended to me by friends. I have 2 from Michael Crichton. I have Next, which you can see I've already started, and I have The Andromeda Strain. I don't know much about either of these, but Next is pretty good so far. Then I got Stormfront by Jim Butcher. This is the first book in the Dresden Files series. And then I grabbed The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, which I am very interested in reading. I've heard people talk about this for years, and then recently I've had it recommended to me by 2 people. This book I grabbed at Barnes & Noble. It's kind of a coffee table book, but it was only $10, and it's Kings and Queens, A Chronicle of History's Most Interesting Monarchs. I enjoy reading about monarchy. I think it's absolutely fascinating. So I'm pretty pleased to have this. It has some great photos, like full page photos. So this isn't something that I'm just going to like sit down and read. It's probably going to be like I read a few pages every now and again, but I'm happy to have it. Guess we'll do this stack next. I'm almost done. I have 3 stacks left. Just bear with me. I picked up The Lions of Fifth Avenue by Fiona Davis. I have been wanting to read Fiona Davis for a while. This cover is absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, I hope this goes well. I grabbed The Devil in the Dark Water by Stuart Turton. I loved the 7.5 lives, or no, the 7.5, oh my god, what is it called? The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle? I think that's, I always get it confused with The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It's a thing. But yes, this is his second book, The Devil in the Dark Water, and I'm very, very interested in reading this. I have heard that if you enjoyed his first book, you will also enjoy this. Yes, I want to get to this soon, but there are several books here that I want to get to immediately, and I just can't. Things take time. I also got The Orphan Collector by Ellen Marie Wiseman. Her book, The Life She Was Given, I read over the summer, I want to say in like June maybe, and I read it in one sitting, and I adored it, and it broke my heart, but it was so beautifully and wonderfully written. And it surrounds a circus, a young girl who gets sold into a circus, and it'll make you cry, but it's so good, and I really do recommend it. So I had to pick up another book by her. I know nothing about it. Most of these I know nothing about, to be quite frank. That's just how I roll. The next book I picked up is The Book of Candlelight by Ellery Adams. I don't know a ton about this either, but a secret book and scone society novel, and that sounds good to me. Anything that has a book in the title, I'm probably gonna read. Similarly, The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I have read this, and if you have seen my November wrap-up, you will know that I loved this, and I gush about it effusively. Next book I picked up is For a Buddy Read that I am doing with Renee from the Librarian of Alexandria, whose channel I will link in the description box. And that is The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. Oh my god. Okay, there you go. Can you see the cover better now? I'm trying to keep the glare from the lights off of it, because this is a very shiny cover. Ugh, it's stunning. It's stunningly beautiful. Renee and I read The City of Brass in October, and I really liked it, and she enjoyed it too. We were just like kind of waiting for action to happen, because it's very much an introduction to a series. Not a ton does happen. It's a lot of background information, so hopefully things really pick up here. The next book I grabbed is His Truth is Marching On, John Lewis and the Power of Hope by John Meacham. If you've been watching any of my recent videos, I think specifically my other book haul for November, the one where it's just nonfiction, I mentioned that I'm really trying to make sure my shelves are diversified. To that end, I picked this up mostly because I adore John Lewis. I read it's like an autobiographical graphic novel series, and it's called March, and I loved it. So I'm hoping that this one will go just as well as that one did. It's not written by John Lewis, though it does have an afterword by him that I might read that first. Is that cheating? It's not like it's fiction novel where there's something that you're not going to want to discover that's going to be a spoiler. Like, it's nonfiction. I don't think it works the same. But yeah, I'm really excited to get to this as well. The next book I grabbed is The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abby Dare? I'm never sure how these accent marks are supposed to work because they're different for different languages, and I get confused. But yeah, I wasn't sure. I hadn't really intended to pick this up, but then I read the synopsis and I was like, God, that's gonna wreck me. And I hope it does. So yeah, I really want to read this. Maybe I'll just like scrap everything and read this one. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Work my way through them, I guess. Next book I picked up, and I'm not sure if this was a good idea. I picked up Magic Lessons by Alice Hoffman. Is that too shiny? I think that's good. I know that this is a prequel to Practical Magic. I have not read Practical Magic, nor have I read... There's another one in this series, and I'm not sure if it's a sequel or if it's another prequel. I haven't read that one either. Is it Magic Lessons? No, this one's Magic Lessons. Good God. The Rules of Magic is what the other one's called. I haven't read that either. So I don't know, if you've read this or if you've read any of the other two books that kind of accompany this, let me know if this can be read as a standalone or if I need to read the others to understand what's going on here. I just really liked the synopsis here, and it was in the Goodreads Choice Awards, and I'm trying to read all the Goodreads, I'm trying to read all the nominated books in like a few specific categories so I can like, I don't know, do my own award show. So yeah, if you have an opinion on whether or not this can be read without reading Practical Magic, please let me know. We are down to the last stack here. My goal was to be able to film this within 40 minutes, and I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it. I grabbed Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I'm a little nervous about this because I attempted to read a Frederick Bachman novel years ago. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was like My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry or something like that. And I DNF'd it. I didn't like it. So I'm hoping this one goes better. I'm really hoping. I grabbed The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett because I've heard so many people talking about this and saying how much they love it. So I grabbed it so I could check it out for myself. I also grabbed The Book of Longings by Sue Monk Kidd. Do I need to say why I got this? How many times do I have to tell you that if it has book in the title, I'm probably picking it up? I grabbed The Once and Future Witches by Alex Iharo. This is much longer than I expected it to be. However, I loved The $10,000 of January by the same author, and I think that one was kind of long too, but the way Alex Iharo writes, I don't mind because I enjoy just immersing myself in the story because of the way it's written. So I think this one's going to be pretty good. I'm hoping it has the same like magical writing that the $10,000 of January had. The final book, I think I did this in 30 minutes. Damn, look at me go. Also a massive book, Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth. I think this is being considered horror. Though from the synopsis, I don't know if I would consider it horror, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see once I read it. It has like a real gothic vibe, and it kind of surrounds this old school, and you know how I am a sucker for anything that has like a grand, large building in it. So I picked this up. Also, I really love this cover. There's something about the red and the black. It's just speaking to me. Wow. I blitzed through that, and I'm pretty proud of myself. If you want any more information about any of these books and you don't care to look it up for yourself, just like let me know in the comments and I'll try to give you more information based on what I know about them. I was trying not to be here forever, so anyway, have you read any of these books? If you have, please let me know what you thought of them. Are there any here that you haven't picked up but want to pick up? Let me know that as well. If you like my content, subscribe. Stick around. I'd love to see you in my comments. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you soon. Bye.